And here we go. Okay, this morning I made a couple of videos mainly talking about what's going on in the political landscape. Normally I do not do a lot of political stuff because you're gonna get a lot of dickheads disagreeing with what you're saying. But a friend of mine decided, hey, this would be a good time to actually throw it up there, and too bad, so sad. So hooah, I hope you fucking enjoyed it, and I hope you hated it. And by the way, every time when you, and I'm not saying hit that subscribe button, which I'm not fucking saying, and hopefully you'll give all the videos a nice thumbs down, because I consider thumbs down is a badge of honor. That means I have screwed up your life for at least 1 or 2 minutes that you'll never get back. So, haha. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the MFO. And with the MFO, remember I talked about the Sharm el-Sheikh bombings. I'm talking about doing our train up. I'm talking about South Control 7, the OP sites. By this time, after of course I told you what happened with the bombings and with the little clips and stuff like that of what was happening, that our continued lockdown was still in effect even a couple months after the Sharm bombings and the IED attack. So basically they were telling us, well, keep your eyes out and let's try not to piss off the Egyptians as much as we can. Roughly about a week or so before I went to started our first rotation at OP11, that I did not give a goddamn about what the Egyptians think. So when I was on that front gate, if they gave any shit, I tell them pretty much to fuck off and die. By the way, I used to know a little bit of Egyptian, mostly a lot of the bad words. I did know how to say hello, I did know how to say goodbye, and have a nice day. But for me, I did not particularly like the Egyptians. I hated the Siddiquis, and they were just basically just a bunch of fucking dicks. Now, when we talk about the Sharm el-Sheikh, and we're talking about Egypt and the MFO, there was a little bit of a piece of news that I actually want to get a chance to share with everybody. That, while I was there, and I was eating at the chow hall, sometimes I would get sick. For no apparent reason. Everybody had the Sharm el-Sheikhs. Basically, you fucking shit out your guts. You got stomach cramps. You had all that bullshit. Found out that about 3 years ago, on one of the MFO Facebook group profiles, said, hey, one of the fucking Egyptian workers was busted by the Australian that was in charge of the chow hall. This guy, this motherfucker, was one of the cooks that was still there after I left. This motherfucker got caught cleaning his feet in our cooking water. He was purposely fucking up the soldiers by putting his nasty fucking dirty feet in the water and turn around and boil noodles with it or whatever. So the Australian guy just about beat the living fuck out of this guy. I mean, he fucking manhandled the fuck out of him, and I just barely found out. So some of my stomach problems, and the rest of us was complaining about stomach problems for years because of this motherfucker. It's lucky that fucking none of the Americans fucking caught him that had a bad temper. I would have shot that motherfucker dead, that cocksucker. So naturally he got fucking fined and he got fucking thrown off the base. From what I heard, the guy pretty much got away with it because the MFO cannot fucking in prison or whatever an Egyptian national. So basically he got away with it. I mean, would you consider it an act of terrorism? I don't know. Trying to get the soldiers sick, and if somebody would have died, would have been traced back to him, I would have fucking pressed criminal charges. But anyway, onto the MFO. So, by this time, after about going into our 7th month, just as we started rotating to OP11, there was nothing but trouble. Remember, the alcohol, the alcohol thing started getting really out of hand. Because some of these fucking clowns, girlfriends and wives, decide to either cheat on them or spend all their money or break up with them. So what do? They turn around and they start drinking, and fist fights started. From what I was told, we had more than 100 Article 15s that I know of. Considering how less it is compared to when I was in Iraq, we had over 300. That these guys were getting into all sorts of fucking trouble. A lot of trouble. Then we have one guy, I will not mention his name because he's on my Facebook friends. Some guy I've known for, before that, roughly about 10 to 12 years. I went to Germany with him. He was screwing around with his 9mm at the front gate and fired a round. The next time I saw him, roughly about a couple weeks later after he came back from OP11, he was a specialist. Yeah, no shit. Got busted all the way down. So anyway, so when we finally did our rotation to OP11, it was high up on the fucking mountains, middle of nowhere. Remember those pictures I showed you? I could turn around and show them again just to let you know. There was nobody around. The trip to go up there was 5 hours. 5 hours. You had to drive through all through the Bedouin villages, the whole cha-cha. I mean, the whole 9 yards. It was like, damn. Once you got up there, you had 2 dogs, because each OP site has a dog or 2 dogs. And I'm going to tell you a really gross story about the dogs. These motherfuckers from Charlie Company that we were rotating out, they, these fucking wackos, something fucked up was going on. As I, of course, walked around the OP site, we had a barrel where we burned stuff, a lot of paperwork, some fucked up wood, things that we were getting rid of, a lot of our trash because of all the packaged goods. That some of the weirdness, I noticed it was definitely not right. We found a couple of used condoms. Okay. So I informed I've informed submarine guy and say, hey, look at this shit. And all he can say is, what kind of sick fucker is doing this? I can understand it being 3 weeks up here per rotation, but damn, dude. Used condom? Who are they using it on? So we couldn't figure out what was going on. And we kind of figured we shouldn't report it. Well, guess what? The next time we rotated up there, found another one. Then another. One of the dogs was always yapping and hurting. There was something wrong with it, so we had to call. And by the way, at South Camp, they have a veterinarian. So the veterinarian came out and checked out one of the dogs and said there's definitely something wrong with the dog. You know, it was constantly complaining about its hindquarters. We came up to the conclusion that some sick fuck is fucking the dog. Some fucking dickhead, we think, because it was more than a couple of times this has happened, that some sicko might be fucking humping one of the dogs. One of our fucking idiot asses is humping a dog. Now we figure it can't be an Egyptian, right? Can't be Egyptian. Could it? Well, you know, we know that these Arabs like to fuck donkeys and do all sorts of crazy shit. But we're trying to figure out why the fuck this dog is having these problems. We think that somebody has been fucking the dog. And that is fucking absolutely gross. And I can guarantee you, if we ever found out who did it, that motherfucker is going to get written the fuck up and busted out. Sicko. And if you're watching this video, you sick motherfucker, since I posted on MFO, and if you're an MFO fucking guy, I hope you fucking burn, you fucking dickhead. Or explain why there's used condoms by the fucking, over the little berm by the fucking barrel, by the burn barrel. Fucking sicko motherfucker. Anyway, this is a video about the MFO and what kind of fucking strange shit's going on. And let me tell you folks, there was some strange shit going on. Huh? Fucking huh.
Consider that selling out, and whatever. A lot of people think you sold out just because you're on a major label and are very popular, or maybe you don't play 1,000 miles an hour the whole time, or you know, we'd be doing the same thing if we were still on, you know, independent label. Not trying to be something fancy, you know. It's just